fire is kindled, and shall not be put out, till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. Woe is me! Woe is me! Who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case.
Shalom, and welcome to part 4 of 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter. Like I said, I want to keep on doing this till I finish the whole chapter, you know. And we read 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter a lot. We read, you know, 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter a lot. We go there a lot. 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, because it's prophecy, you know. And this is what we got to focus on as we move forward. You want to build your faith? You want to build your faith up? Then focus on prophecy, man. Don't focus too much on controversial issues, you know. You know what I'm saying? So if you wanna be healthy on the prophecy tip, then study prophecy and watch, you know, watch the latest news on what's going on with the nations and what's going on overall on the global scene, and match it with the scriptures. So I left off at verse 20 on part 3. So that's what we're gonna start off with.
But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think.
So verse 20 it says, But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness. Alright, verse 20 reads, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So that's as we approach the end, what's gonna happen, man. You know, the Lord's gonna bring plagues. Like I said, the main plague is gonna be the thermonuclear missiles, and even with that, while they're burning, they're gonna be cursing out the Most High and blaspheming and talking shit, right? In the book of Revelation it says that. So, and that's the reason why they received of the judgment of the Lord, because they were so damn wicked, man. You have people alive, man, that don't deserve to be alive, man, in this day and age, and the Most High has a special judgment for them, man. And the Most High is going to take them out of this earth.
Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other, that escape the hunger, shall the sword destroy. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other, that escape the hunger, shall the sword destroy.
Okay, so verse 21 it says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth. So it's going to come a time where things that costed a lot of money, you know, your common things that cost a lot of money, man, are going to be sold very cheap. Cars, right? Houses, clothes, you know what I'm saying? Anything, any type of clothing, a pair of jackets, pants, shoes, you name it, jewelry. They're gonna be sold very cheap. Oil, you know, oil for well, gas, you know, gas prices, let's say, you know, which is controlled by oil, you know, the price of the barrel or whatever. All these things are gonna be cheap, very dirt cheap, and then people are gonna think that they are living in good times, so they don't know that that's the quiet before the storm. Yes, I said, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So this links up with Matthew's, the 24th chapter, Mark, the 13th chapter, and Luke, the 21st chapter, man. A lot of times Yahweh Shai was reiterating the prophets of old, of the prophecies that they spoke, because hell, it was Yahweh Shai who was giving the prophets the prophecy. You know what I'm saying? It was the Most High Yahweh through Yahweh Shai giving the prophets the prophecy. So wouldn't he know of the prophecies? So all he did was reiterated what they had said, because they had not had happened yet, and they stood, they were still in effect. Okay, so Yahweh Shai was bringing out saying a lot of things that the prophets of old were saying. You know, that's why people thought that when he was performing those miracles and while he was teaching, they thought that he was one of those other prophets, and they didn't know that he was the son of the Most High, except for the 12 disciples. Well, at first it was only Peter who confessed it, and then the other 12 adhered to it. You know, they agreed. Verse 22 says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. Famine is coming. That's another big thing in the news. They're not bringing it out too much. They don't want to scare the living shit out of people, but there's a major food shortage happening here in America, and it's gonna hit big. So you know, 2021 shit may be the year of famine, man. You know, people dying of starvation because there's not too much food on the shelves, man, in these grocery stores. These grocery stores only have about three days worth of inventory, man, during a major situation. Okay, so yeah, man. So there's gonna be, you know, this is the time where you got to focus on your faith, man, and the health of your faith. You know, to check yourself and make sure that, you know, you are walking with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that you are faithful. And if you feel weak in faith, then pray. You know what I'm saying? The Most High will help you out with that, you know? And Lord willing, you be a hope, part of the hopeful elect. The Lord will take care of you, man. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, man. So never mind the thermonuclear missiles. There's gonna be people dying because they're hungry. Dying because of hunger, man. Which, that's a horrible way to die, you know what I mean? And the other that escaped the hunger shall the sword destroy. Right. So if the famine don't get them, the great sword will, which is the thermonuclear missile, man. And or the actual sword. You know, there's gonna be a lot of situations happening before the Great Destruction. You know, there's gonna be civil wars happening. You know, insurrections. So it's gonna be like, you know, miniature wars happening within the cities in America, man, and people getting killed and stuff. So yeah, so this is, you know, it's just a sign of the end. But the great sword is the thermonuclear missile. You know, if they don't die by the hunger, they don't die by, you know, by being killed out there in the streets, man, then the great sword, which is the thermonuclear missiles, man, are gonna get them. Verse 23 says, Alright, verse 23 says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. That's the waster, right? To destroy the thermonuclear missiles, man. Verse 24, there shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. Yeah, over here on this side. This landmass known as North America, because there ain't gonna be nothing left after the missiles hit. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? And that's way after. See, way after the radiation, right after, you know, years and years after the nuclear missiles pelting this land, this continent known as America. Years and years after, then, you know, vegetation will grow. Then, you know, because the fire purifies, you see. So then animals will be able to come over here and dwell here. But there ain't gonna be no man to dwell here anymore, because the Lord's gonna leave it as a memorial. Verse 25 says, the trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The answer is nobody. Verse 26, the grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? No one. For all places shall be desolate of men. See, and that's talking about within all the cities they used to be on this land continent known as North America. So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. Verse 28. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rock. And that's talking about before the destruction, because there's going to be so much shit happening. That's before the destruction, because there's plenty of scriptures that prove that there ain't going to be nobody left here on this land. Verse 29, as in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives, or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. So I'm going to stop right there. This is part 4, 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter. And I'm leaving off at the 30th verse. So stay tuned for part 5. Shalom.